please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody, we got big news regarding the Washington Capitals today. They have their new head coach, and it is Peter Laviolette. Now, before I go in depth about this, I just ask that you please hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Both of those things help out a ton and are very, very much appreciated. But let's get talking about it here. Peter Laviolette is the new head coach of the Washington Capitals. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, I want to say right off the bat, I love this move for Washington. Laviolette was my first choice for the Capitals. He's who I would have wanted if I were them. It's who they got, and I think Peter Laviolette is a tremendous coach and is going to do a tremendous job with Washington. Let's talk a little bit about the entire process here, starting with who they were looking at. So, obviously, Peter Laviolette, the other two coaches that they interviewed were Mike Babcock and Gerard Gallant. Washington made it very, very clear that they were going after a veteran head coach. They wanted somebody who has been in the league for a substantial amount of time, who is a well-respected coach, and someone who they thought is going to bring in a win-now attitude to the Capitals. Now, Gerard Gallant, I've said this on this channel many, many times now, I believe is going to Seattle. So unless Washington was going to offer him some cannot-refuse massive contract, I don't think Gerard Gallant was going to be the coach there. I believe still that he is going to end up being the coach of the Seattle Kraken. Mike Babcock, as I have said on this channel many times, I think is one of the most overrated coaches in NHL history. I am not a Mike Babcock fan at all. I am very glad that Washington did not go with Babcock. I don't like him as a coach. I don't like him as a person. I can't stand Mike Babcock. Peter Laviolette, I think, was the best choice for the Washington Capitals. And I'm very, very happy to see that they went with him, and I think that was the correct choice. That would have been my choice. And overall, I just love this move for the Capitals. Now, let's talk about the Capitals a little bit. They are a team that is 100% in win-now mode. They are a team that's been knocked out in the first round of the playoffs each of the past 2 years under Todd Reirden, and Todd Reirden is someone who I don't think was a very good head coach. I am not a Reirden guy at all. I think he can be a very good assistant coach. He can do some things very well, but overall, Todd Reirden was not a good head coach. He wasn't respected by the players. He was kind of a pushover, and I feel like at the end of the day, he was just kind of someone who was there behind the bench, but he really wasn't doing a whole lot. And that's why they were knocked out in the playoffs in the first round each of the past 2 years under Reirden. And this year, I mean, it's not even just that they got knocked out in the first round. They got spanked. They got absolutely destroyed by the Islanders in the first round this year. And Reirden just wasn't the guy. He's not a commanding presence. He's not a well-respected. I feel like the players just didn't even listen to him. They just walked all over him. It was kind of just like, all right, he's here talking, whatever, and we're just going to go out, we'll do what we want, and whatever happens, happens. Like, there was no accountability there between him and the players. There was no respect there, and he was just walked all over in Washington. And you are not going to do that to Peter Laviolette. Peter Laviolette commands the respect of his players. He's interesting because I wouldn't call him an old school coach necessarily, but he does have a lot of old school tendencies about him while still being able to adapt to the game as it changes. That's why Laviolette has been successful everywhere that he's gone, and he's been successful over a number of years, over 15, about 15 years now in the NHL. He won the Stanley Cup with the Carolina Hurricanes in 2006. He went to the Stanley Cup Finals again in 2010 with the Philadelphia Flyers, and then he went to the finals again in 2017 with the Nashville Predators. He's been successful in Carolina. He's been successful in Philadelphia. He's been successful in Nashville. There's no reason to think that, for me, that he's not going to be successful in Washington. He has only won one cup, but he's been to two others, so the team just came up a little short. His teams are consistently in the postseason. Peter Laviolette is a massive, massive upgrade over Todd Reirden. And if you're the Washington Capitals, that is what you needed, because you need to win right now. You need to win now if you are the Washington Capitals. I mean, look at the roster. Look at this team. This is a team that has, I think, 2-3 years max in their cup window remaining, and that's it. This core of Ovechkin, Backstrom, Carlson, and Oshie has 2, maybe 3 more years to win another cup, or they're not going to do it. They are in their 30s now, mid-30s now. They are getting older. They are running out of time. This is a Washington Capitals team that, if they're going to win another cup with this core, needs to do it within the next couple of years. If they don't, I don't think they're going to do it. So, this is a move that you make where you need to bring in somebody, and this is why Washington wanted a veteran coach so badly, because this is a move where you don't have time for growing pains. You don't have time for a new coach from the AHL coming up getting adjusted. You don't have time for a first-time head coach to get adjusted. You need to come in and you need to win right now, like starting next season. And I'm not saying Washington is going to win the cup. I'm not saying they're ever going to win a cup under Laviolette. But what I am saying is that Peter Laviolette is a massive, massive upgrade over Todd Reirden. Peter Laviolette, I think, was the best choice out of the 3 guys that they were looking at. Certainly my favorite of those 3 coaches. Although I am a huge fan of Gallant as well. But again, I think he's going to Seattle. So that was kind of pushed aside. I think it came down to Babcock or Laviolette. I can't stand Babcock. I'm a huge fan of Laviolette. This was a great move in my opinion for them, and this was the right move. And when you look at all of the things involved, Washington's urgency to win now, how well respected Peter Laviolette is as a coach by the players, how long he's been a coach in the NHL, and how successful he has been everywhere he's gone in the NHL. He's won with Carolina, he's won with Philadelphia, he's won with Nashville. Everywhere he goes, he is good. Now, obviously, over time, every coach has a shelf life, and those teams go through ups and downs, and he eventually has left those other jobs or been fired from those other jobs. But he's always, everywhere he's gone, he's always had at least a few really, really good seasons. So there's no reason to think that he won't do that with Washington. I think he's just overall such a better coach for the Capitals. I think he's going to go into Washington, really kind of change that attitude, change their effort level, and really let them, reintroduce a sense of urgency here and a drive, a legitimate drive to win and win now. Because if you're the Washington Capitals, you have to win now. You are running out of time, and he needs to instill that in those players. Their core players are in their mid-30s now, most of them. Backstrom, Ovechkin, Oshie, those guys are in their 30s now. Carlson is getting, crossing that 30 marker. Like, it's time to go. It's time to go. Like, if you're going to win another Stanley Cup, if 2018 wasn't enough for you, if winning once wasn't enough for you, and you truly want to win again, you have 2 to 3 more years to do it. And that's it. So he needs to go in there and tell those players, like, it's time to go. We win now or we don't win. And it's going to be go time next season, starting next season for the Washington Capitals. That team is too good to be losing in the first round of the playoffs. They should be in the conference finals. They should be fighting for a spot in the Stanley Cup finals. They could potentially be winning Stanley Cups. Todd Reirden wasn't cutting it. He needed to go. The Capitals made the right choice in getting rid of Reirden. They made the right choice in hiring Peter Laviolette. Now it is time to go for the Washington Capitals. I cannot wait to see what they look like next season. I'll honestly tell you, they may not be as good in the regular season as they have been. They might not be a top of the division team in the regular season. Where I want to see improvement is the playoffs. I want to see them go deep into the playoffs next year under Laviolette, not another first-round exit. I want to see them go deep, and I think Laviolette is a coach that can absolutely get them there. He's one of my favorites in the league. I think Washington made a spectacular choice. Cannot wait to see how it turns out and what the Capitals look like next year and how deep they can go and what kind of run they can make. But overall, I just absolutely love this move for Washington. It's a huge upgrade over Todd Reirden. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you so much for watching. Really, really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys soon.